how I achieved $850,000 in sales and consistent flow of 7 to 8 qualified leads every week without making a follow-up call. If you are a small business owner or entrepreneur who hates making up follow-up calls but wants a consistent flow of quality leads coming into your business every week, then I'm going to share with you the exact steps that I used to build my business. Inside intelligence, from a team of 10 investigators to a team of 200, plus the launch of second business, Cheating Partners, that today receive 7 to 8 qualified leads each week, resulting in $850,000 in sales in just a few years without paying for advertising or making up follow-up calls. Over the next 6 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact 3 components that we use to book 7 to 8 qualified leads into my calendar every single week without making follow-up calls. How can we achieve this? It is because we mastered educational selling and removed the risk from the sales process. See, the one thing that buys fear is being taken advantage of. And this is triggered before the buyer even picks up the phone or writes an email to you. This is my client Daniel, who accelerated his sales process and increased his revenue after being featured on my podcast back in 2019. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to see everybody. Hello to Daniel Tolson from Taiwan. Hey, Daniel, welcome. Before being featured, it could take Daniel months of networking, dozens of presentations, and up to 6 weeks of following up to make $6,000 sales. Today, after being featured on my podcast, people listen to the episode where he educates them on emotional intelligence. And those listeners turns into leads, reaching out to him and beginning to buy. Today, his sales cycle has been reduced from the 6 weeks to 60 minutes. Turn listeners into leads. So, who is this for? This is for small business owners or entrepreneurs who want high quality leads without having to follow up. The truth is, podcasting turns listeners into leads and they buy fast. Hello, my name is Mario Bekes. I'm the founder of the Life the Battlefield, the owner of the Inside Intelligence, Cheating Partners, and I hold Guinness World Record for the longest podcast. I used it to be stressed out all the time about my business and where my next sale was coming from. And what it made it worse was my friends didn't respect my business or what I was doing. I remember for more than 10 years waking up at 5 a.m. in the morning, going to networking events across Sydney, and never finding quality leads, and then grinding it out on the telephone every week with the hundreds of following up calls to people who constantly say,
I'm not in the market.
or
Can you call me back next week?
it was so frustrating because I knew my service could make a big impact. I knew I was the best at what I did, but I was wasting all of my time just because following those people who never buy. And here is what I learned. By starting a podcast, I could educate my market while I was asleep. I could master building relationships without speaking with the people, one-to-one. And the best part was I only had to record my podcast once and then use it forever. So instead of making hundreds of follow-up calls per week, I'm now sending out my podcast to thousands of people per week. And the roles have reversed. The leads are now chasing me for appointment, And this is how I was able to scale Inside Intelligence to a team of 200 investigators and cheating partners to over $850,000 in sales in just a few years without spending dollar on advertising. This is Michael. He had the goal to launch his stationery business in Australia, offering breakthrough products that could immediately reduce business costs by 20%. However, he was completely unknown in the Australian market. He had no leads, no sales, and no opportunities. And he felt like a world best kept secret. The turning point came when I showed him how to start podcasts, to educate, build relationships, and convert listeners into leads. Within 7 days, his brand had influenced more than 500,000 business people. And within 2 weeks, he increased his sales by 28%. Nadia, a health and wellness professional, had the goal to impact hundreds of thousands of Australians and guide them toward happier and healthier lives. However, she faced a challenge. She struggled to stand out and capture enough attention in a saturated marketplace. With no followers on Facebook, Instagram, or YouTube, her ability to sell was severely impacted. The breakthrough came when I introduced her to the power of podcasting. I showed her how to educate her community, provides exceptional value, and showcase her expertise. Within 28 days, her social media channels experienced an explosion of growth, gaining 10,000 new followers, and as a result, she received a continuous stream of prospects who were eager for more information and the opportunity to personally connect with her. And I want same for you. So, it doesn't matter where your ideal client is located. They can listen anytime, day or night, and you can educate while you are asleep. Build relationships with thousands of people and never have to make follow-up calls again. The best part about this system is that you record it once and use it for life. Now, let me explain 3 components to you, teacher, not salesperson. The first component is education. When podcasting, you educate your client on the problems they are facing and the solutions that are available. As you do this, they see you as a respected teacher rather than a salesperson. Relationships remove risk. The second component is relationships. With the podcast, your voice in their ear and you are speaking directly to them without interruption. The more they listen, the more you build a relationship, which removes the perception of risk. This is a huge component of winning sales in today's marketplace. Listeners become leads. The third component is turning leads into listeners. The listeners sees you as a teacher, educating them on a problem and solutions. They see you as a friend because they are listening in on your conversation. And the logical next step is for them to want to ask you the question. This is where the listeners become leads, reaching out to you for your expert advice and the opportunity for one-to-one consultation. As a client using Life the Battlefield, you get access to our network of hundreds of thousands of listeners to amplify your message. We take care of everything for you, so you only have to press the record button once. We will even create for you the studio quality podcast, along with the dozens of bite-sized inspirational clips that you can share and go viral on social media. Life the Battlefield, you won't even have to hear the words, I'm not in the market, or you can call me next week. You can stop calling and you'll start spending more time doing what makes money and creates the freedom. So at this point, you have to make a choice. Do you keep doing its old way, going to endless network meetings, following up calls and hoping it works out? Or would you like to do it new way? Would you like to record your podcast, educate your audience, and turn listeners into leads? So They chase you around, begging to get an opportunity to speak with you. If you like to do it new way by turning listeners into leads and getting live the battlefield, click the link below, fill out the application, and we look forward speaking to you at the time that suits you.